What's up, guys, and welcome back to Wake Up Entertainment. So today we want to look at MK Party and their court victories, and those court victories they have been sending, shivers to the ANC and even to Ramaphosa. These guys they've been fighting left, right, and center, and Ramaphosa and the ANC they've been trying their best, to stop MK Party, but MK has been really unstoppable, and the biggest issue that is there, it's in regards, to the trademark of the name MK in itself, because the ANC, they've been arguing that that name MK Party, that is our property, and Zuma cannot use that, as leverage to form his own party. So the ANC has been taking, MK and Zuma to the courts, but unfortunately for them, they've been losing those court cases over and over again. And Zuma, for example, was being told, what, he has a lot of people that love and follow him. Why don't he just name his party, for example, Zuma Maibuye, because why use our property? That is what the ANC has been saying for quite some time, So these legal battles, they've been there. And let's break this down, who has the right to use the name Umkhonto Wesizwe, this name is historically tied to the ANC's military wing during the struggle against apartheid. So from the perspective of the ANC, they were saying, what, this is misleading to the voters, especially the older generation, who associate the name with liberation. So in short, the ANC wanted the court to stop the MK Party from using the name and the logo, arguing it was their intellectual property and political heritage. But Zuma's MK, fired back. They argued that the name belonged to the people, not to the ANC, and that the new party had illegally registered, with the IEC. They claimed that this was simply, political bullying by the ANC, who were afraid of losing votes, to a rising movement that actually resonated with young, ordinary people, and everybody across South Africa. So the blow for ANC came in Durban, when the Durban High Court dismissed the ANC's application. The judge ruled that the MK had followed the law when registering the name and the logo with the Electoral Commission. And more importantly, the court found that there was no substantial evidence that there was going to be confusion amongst the people, or anything like misleading with people, thinking that what is really going on here. So it's what they found. So the ruling made it very, very clear, that in South Africa they are politically aware and capable of distinguishing, between the ANC and Jacob Zuma's new MK party. So that's the ruling that came from there. So just because, two entities share a historical name doesn't mean one owns the legacy forever. So the court basically told the ANC, you don't have a monopoly on the past. That line, it really hit hard. The ANC didn't just lose a legal battle, they lost the argument that only they can claim the liberation legacy. And that's why, this ruling was so powerful. So celebrations, obviously erupted outside the courtroom. MK supporters danced, waved flags, and declared, a massive victory. It was a huge victory for them. And others were saying, you know what, the ANC is now losing control So looking at it, from a bigger picture, this ruling, it wasn't about the name in itself. It was about who owns the struggle, who controls the narrative, and who the people are starting to believe in again, whether you support the ANC, MK, or neither. One thing is clear, the ground is shifting. It's really shifting, because Zuma being allowed, to have the MK momentum, everything. It's really huge for them. So this was massive for MK, but the challenge that is there now at the end of the day is that MK, they may end up believing that this name might be everything to them. There is every need, to start, from the ground, as if they did not have, this momentum that they got from the name MK itself, and really build the structures. And that is why they brought Floyd Shivambu in the first place, to build those structures. And I'm hearing that Floyd, built those party structures, but I doubt, that he finished the job. There's still a lot that needs to be done, especially with regards to discipline. Exactly. Some of these MK members, they can literally say anything on social media without facing any consequences. Can you believe that? Take, for example, Tabiso Molefe. That guy, he literally lashed out at Floyd Shivambu on social media. Nothing was done to him. Well, that guy is a councillor. Can you imagine a councillor lashing out at the Secretary General of MK and nothing being done to him? Obviously, Duduzile, we can put him aside and give her the benefit of the doubt and say she is the daughter of Zuma. But what about Wongenkosi Kanyile, that guy and what he says? So they need, to build on the disciplinary part and ensure that anyone who goes astray, faces the consequences of their actions and words. And if they continue, building on the structures, they'll definitely be onto something really, really big, heading into the future. Because 2026 is just right around the corner. And going forward, they don't need any confusion.